Okay, YouTubers, well, just to be relevant, I'm going to talk about American Spring. I don't know much about it, and I didn't think much about it. Patriot Nurse made some very good points against it being a good idea. Seems to have been a major flop, which I think is a good thing. Not that I favor Obama and Biden and the rest of that crew. Well, what could take its place could be much worse. And even more effectively worse, because it would, like the Communist Party, the leadership in those days in Russia, claim to represent the people's will, so any criticism of them is going against the people's will. Same sort of game. Potentially. The way I see it, particularly with there being two retired, I think they're both retired, military brass running this thing, you might have, originally I thought two, now possibly three scenarios running. Here's how. One, these people are sincere, including the leadership, and they actually expect to be able to make this overthrow and this change. They actually plan to do this. This shows in some sort of a dream world, and the low turnout, maximum 1,000 people, pretty well establishes that. Now, in the process of overthrowing them, putting this new government, it would be effectively, if not a military coup, at least something pretty similar, or I could set the stage for it, where the like-minded in the military would rise up and all this stuff. Obviously, that's probably much of a dream thing, too. Second possible outcome, and possible intent, is that this isn't really American Spring, this is American Sting, as in, like Mao said, let all the flowers grow together so that you can cut the ones out you don't want. Bring them all out into the open so that they could be rounded up. And if a shooting event started, it would be probably not enough people to stage an actual takeover, but it would be the excuse for a total crackdown and installation of martial law. The third scenario would be, it's again American Sting, but they don't expect any violence to come about. What they expect would be, it's a test run to see how many people actually could be called on effectively to come out and do this. And then from that, project the possible numbers that would be in agreement with something similar that might get violent locally, but we're not about to take a long trip to Washington either because they didn't think it would work or couldn't or whatever. So this might be basically a fishing expedition. One of the things that bothers me, as someone else brought to attention, is one of those two military brass guys was professionally, at least, which he might not be able to help, associated with Temple of Set founder Michael Aquino a long time ago. But perhaps that association is not strictly professional and limited to military context that goes beyond that. And it wouldn't, if that's the case, it wouldn't be the first time you had a Satanist running some, talking about God, country, and apple pie, and they got their own agenda. Then there are those people who aren't overt devil worshippers that actually think they're serving God, country, and apple pie, but the values they've got, when you examine them, are more in line with satanic virtues than Christian virtues. Well, that's my take on American Spring. It was a flop, thank God. But it may not have been a flop. It may have been step one fishing expedition, in which case it was a rousing success. You can logically project off of how many turned out to how many might, under certain circumstances, turn out, and then start locating and recruiting these to some more long-term dangerous purpose that might work. They're thinking they're serving constitutional interests, in fact not. Or simply to stamp them out altogether. Now, I don't favor the Patriot Militia crew. I don't favor the bunch in power now. There are serious errors in a lot of so-called constitutionalist thinking when you look at the Constitution, what it actually says. Laws and intent and what they were reacting to at the time it was written, meaning of terms at the time. My blog, I call it politically unclassifiable, all one word there, .blogspot.com, for a reason. You can't really put me on any section of the political spectrum that easily. Strictly issue by issue and what will work in what direction given this context, for the most part, with a few absolutes, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's my take on American Spring. Of course, it's only second day. Who knows what's going to happen next. Have a nice day.